That's right, Avery here had it locked in. He called it from the get-go. He said, Huskar, good work.
Thank you.
Well done, well done.
There's only one hero that could have inspired such a maniacal laugh from Crit. It was Maureen saying, give me the Huskar.
Wait, so that wasn't draft analysis, that was people analysis?
That was a facial read.
Wow.
Pure and simple.
That's why he was the captain.
I mean, I know this team thinks, man. They're not going to bypass an opportunity to humiliate their opponent. Like, they thrive for that. I'm not saying they will. I'm just saying they give them the chance. They're going to drop the mantles. They're going to all chat the all chat. And they're going to walk the walk. And they last pick the Huskar. And Maureen says, I'm about to show you how it's done to the Huskar pseudo-master from the Huskar master. We'll see if it works out. Honestly, it doesn't look like the easiest Huskar game, but we'll see if he can make it work. He is Grandmaster tier for a reason.
Yeah, but you got Grandmaster tier Queen of Pain on the other
The
side.
battle begins.
And this Queen Huskar matchup, it can go both ways a little bit. Like, the lane is not incredibly bad early on, and then Sonic Wave is, you know, obviously very good versus the hero in the fights.
Yeah.
They also have a lot of heavy physical chunking between Sven with Venjora. There's a swap that you can bail out, like Ag's Huskar jump on, or swap the Huskar really deep. Lasso's another displacement tool. Dawnbreaker save with Ags could be really good in this game later.
Oh, yeah, I would love to see an Ags in this one.
So I don't think it's the most straightforward Huskar game, but of course, last pick Huskar is last pick Huskar, and they have a lot of other stuff going on, including the ATF Mars, which I think has been undefeated so far, if I'm not mistaken, and a crap ton of physical damage synergy. You have Tusk Tag Team going in with Punch, Weaver Bug going on top of it, Mars going through with a Shield Crash. There's a lot of physical burst coming out that can just catch you off guard. You might not get that swap off. So I like both these drafts. I think they both make a lot of sense. I think Gaimin found something that is a lot more synergistic than last game.
Okay.
Which is a good sign for them. But I do think they're still struggling to figure out what they want in this meta. Like, this to me is another draft where, you know, we don't see a lot of other teams, I think, running these 5 heroes, for example. The Dawnbreaker is pretty A-specific. The Queen of Pain's probably more of a Quinn-specific hero. Again, doesn't make it bad, but it just tells me they're still kind of searching for what they think is good, whereas in all of those Gaimin Gladiators runs we saw last year, it felt like you knew what they were going to pick.
Yeah.
You just couldn't do anything. I don't know what they're going to pick right now, which I think is the biggest sign. They're struggling a little bit in terms of what they want.
How come that's a good sign for some teams and bad sign for others?
Because some teams are good and some teams are bad.
But Gaimin Gladiators won the most tournaments last year, so I don't think you could say they're bad.
I mean, it's just dependent on your style of a team and how you execute. If you want to do very consistent things in every single game in terms of structure, you're going to have heroes that can consistently execute those things.
Okay. Yeah,
which makes you predictable, but can also make your game plan very practicable and therefore stronger. You raise the floor a lot, even if your ceiling is not necessarily the highest of any team in the world.
Woohoo. A little close here, but level 3 now for the Huskar, so should be okay. The why is it over the years of Dota that we have almost less variety in that regard? I feel like there used to be a lot more variety in what a team would play.
Nice bounce back.
Regard. That was really nice.
I mean, this is what you want to do to the Maiden with these kill lanes.
Hit
Again,
Skeeter too.
Find Maiden on the side, plus 25 MMR, man. It's not hard. Zero just insta-feeds if you're on top of her. And
You're
this
just really preaching the Crystal Maiden killing,
it's just
aren't
good
you?
Dota. That's what you're supposed to do to this hero. If you let this hero get away with like a straight 2-on-2 lane, it's going to beat you. But if you manipulate the lane, pull her to the side, she's the weakest hero in those skirmish fights. So
I will
good
say,
sign for Gaimin.
One nice thing is that Weaver, that's kind of cool. Skater actually takes the time to go kill the hard camp sentry instead of forcing Snake King to do it, which he would undoubtedly die.
And this is a very strong lane. Last game, one of the issues for Gaimin was their side lanes went horrendous.
Yeah, well, every lane went horrendous.
And Huskar mid cannot bail out your side lanes. Like, the mid was okay. He got ganked twice. He was still even. But what is Huskar supposed to do in a game where all 3 lanes lose?
Yeah.
This game, the side lanes are a lot more secure for Gaimin. They have very strong dual side lanes that should be pretty self-sustaining. Go even at worst, I want to say. Like, Dawn is just not losing many lanes in the current meta. Even versus Weaver Maiden. Another incredibly strong lane from Falcons.
If this hero isn't losing a whole lot of lanes, and we actually just talked about the fact that, like, winning lanes is a big part. Why aren't we seeing more Dawnbreaker?
I think the hero really struggled itemization-wise last patch. This is a new patch, so maybe it's a bit better for it, but I still think even here, like, what do you build on this hero to be useful in the early to mid transition? Orchid Rush? Mage Slayer? You know, like, it's weird. Echo Saber, Harpoon, none of these items just sound crazy, right?
Yeah.
I think she just has a hard time transitioning. The Ags, I think, is still very powerful in certain games, and I think her laning's still very good, and she can have very strong team fights if she's not against a lot of interrupts and stuns. But there are a lot of lineups with a lot of interrupts and stuns, and then it takes advantage of the fact you don't want to buy early BKB on the hero. And her spells just don't work when they get interrupted. So would you rather have Dawnbreaker trying to land Starbreakers and hammers, or would you rather just have Mars who blink, ult, pierces you, and your carry's dead?
Sure.
It's not as reliable.
Mars certainly feels like a special hero right now.
He's a very strong hero, for sure. His spells are just almost never bad. That's why we always see this hero. Found Maiden.
Yeah, but the Weaver is going to be able to take advantage of this. Snaking will probably go down, but they are going to get a little bit low. Okay, they give up on the chase.
2 bug kills. Not bad gold.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, I was going to say that I think Weaver is probably one of the better heroes to help out Crystal Maiden, right? They're going to go on the Crystal Maiden, means he gets the bug on them.
Yeah.
And they're so focusing on the kill, they lose a bunch of armor and damage.
And the lane CS-wise are still going very well for Falcons here, as they're showing their usual prowess and just winning all 3. So there's going to be another game that Gaimin play from behind, and mid is starting to, you know, you're in that level 5 territory. This is where it just becomes unplayable. And Quinn is hemorrhaging some net worth in this department, getting doubled up on the CS. 18 denies for the Huskar. The Huskar Master has come.
Fortunately, a Water Rune was still sitting there, so Quinn doesn't have to go all the way back to the base, but you might as well, yeah, I was going to say, you might as well be, like, jungling at this point. He's probably going to cut a wave.
The old Eternal Envy move.
Oh, and a courier.
Ooh, close. Yeah, I mean, you got to do what you got to do.
And see if he can get the 6-minute power rune. Super important. If not, he can at least secure maybe the bounty rune up here.
Might take some damage for this, though.
Rotation.
Yeah, Maureen does not want to give it free. Very heads-up play.
It's on the other side.
I think you can still secure it, even. Just forcing Queen off the lane here. Man, brutal mid lane. Really opening up a gap. And, I mean, Queen of Pain can come back in this game. You can just play it off the Sonic waves in the team fights, but it can't be a game where Quinn is just going to assert himself on the map, which has been a big part of Gaimin's MO for the last year or two. They generally do not like playing from a position where the mid is lost.
Oh, we got him!
That's very deep,
though.
The
blink goes off. He'll get the kill, but is he going to die in return? It's going to be hard for these supports, but problem is they don't have the immediate burst. He gets a couple of hits in, not enough to kill Tofu as well. So 1-for-1 trade-off. Bad for Quinn, good for Gaimin Gladiators, maybe. Well, they're
going to lose
Wisdom here. Oh, yeah, they're going to lose Wisdom. That's even worse.
They double TP'd support. Oh, they only have single TP'd. So Celery was there. He might be able to get it in time.
Blocks him off or attempts to, doesn't quite get it. Celery instead stuns Skeeter.
Wants the kill.
Missed the Starbreaker, gets interrupted by the Snowball. Crit will give up his life to get Skeeter to safety. Kind of works out for Falcons. They stole the Wisdom Rune.
Yeah, kills not too bad, though. I think Gaimin are happy with those kills. I mean, the downside is Quinn didn't get any of the XP for that Huskar kill. Those TPs were pretty fast, but still end up being late just due to the burst. So
yeah, and I don't know. I feel like these supports aren't like super valuable experience-wise, right?
I mean, he'll take what you can get, especially after losing Wisdom Rune. But I mean, I feel like swap is pretty big actually. Venge feels kind of bad when your swap gets really delayed. That's why you pick this hero. But they're doing better. This is a better game than the last one for sure. Though that bar is not very high.
No.
It's a stable-ish game, I want to say. An 8-minute power rune coming up. So they're trying to fight for it. But no luck. Sonic Wave.
Sonic Wave is just enough. The Huskar Master falls.
Yeah, that did not look very masterful, I must say.
Bit of a misread of the situation there. They also have a Sven on the side of Gaimin Gladiators, right? So we can assume that they're going to be stacking up the triangle, stacking up Ancients.
Absolutely look for it. And
Another go, fortunately got vision there.
unfortunately, it's
Has to
the
dive for the tail.
slowest support in the game. So it doesn't matter.
Well, it is
tanky
showing
hero.
2 supports here in the mid lane, but they're going to be able to TP to bottom. Dawnbreaker also can help out. So now Dyrachyo, with his god strength, can turn around and kill Amar. It just needs a little bit more disable, but they
that
ran
shard.
out.
That shard was really nice. Made the spellcasting awkward for Ace here, and can't get a breaker off.
Ooh, Mitskeeter actually followed through. I like that play. Following the Dawnbreaker through the portal. Said, you go across the map, I'll go across the map and join you. We'll make sure that these winning lanes stay winning.
Man, 4 heroes collapsing out of nowhere. It'll be another maiden kill. I mean,
Deja vu.
yeah, can't run forever. So that's actually a decent amount of recovery for Quinn off those 3 kills mid. But a big turnaround when you're bringing 4 bottom and killing the Dawnbreaker going into you early game. That's rough. Especially a situation where Dyrachyo was not dying there. That was a 1600 HP Sven. No way in which that works. But they get the bait and they get the turnout and they get the tower for it. And meanwhile, Skeeter is free farming.
Yeah. All of their cores are 1k up on their counterpart, basically.
Just lane domination in this series as a whole. Really putting on a clinic.
What a bounty!
And this is where Huskar really gets his game, honestly. I mean, we talk a lot about the lane, but it's the fact this hero can do Ancients from a very early standpoint and then scale it into an early Roshan. That's where the hero gets a lot of his levels and just game dominance from. If you can't slow that down, the lane almost doesn't matter.
Well, Quinn knows his Huskar in and out, so he makes the call that they're going to smoke and try and catch the Huskar.
But of course, it's the
midway
Huskar
through
master.
doing the Ancients.
And so Malrine reads this smoke play because he's
Or he just
the most experienced Huskar
naturally
player of all
killed
time.
the camp.
But of course, Gaimin read that because they knew what Huskar wants to do, and then
got him on the Armlet toggle.
even though Malrine read that play, he still could not escape.
And they might even... No, never mind.
Quinn went back
Frostbite.
in.
Wait a minute. Can the spear land? Amar going for it. Hits the spear. Dawnbreaker went
What?
to the wrong hero.
Or did he?
meant to go to the Queen of Pain. He's going to join in on this fight now, but Quinn is already dead.
I mean, he went to the Venge because they killed the Tusk, but was that worth saving your queen there? I don't know. Either way, 3 kills for 1. And you got the Huskar, so you got the Quap XP, which is probably the most important part in this game.
Yep.
I guess you'll take it. I mean, these are awkward trades, but you were in an awkward early game. You just got him with the Scream Wave. Are we going to have to demote the Master rank?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's looking a little shaky, man.
I mean, certainly not Grandmaster.
That is a long-range swap.
Rank, but that's okay. Or is it okay? He'll blink up for a few more seconds. Once
Should
he
get it.
does, he'll need a little bit more damage. Couple
Missed
more
the
right
wave.
clicks. Crit. Maybe snowball save. He's kind of holding it. He's like, no,
Oh
not
my
sure it's
lord.
needed. They don't actually get the kill.
Quinn gonna... Oh, he missed
Oh,
it
he
again.
commits and tries to go for it. Now Amar's going to go for the pin, maybe? Throws it out, gets him. Nobody there to be able to take advantage of this.
It's a big missed kill. Wave of Terror just does not connect at the end. Amar with the juke.
So wait for me. Wait, don't leave me.
No, you definitely leave him. Maybe the troll can seal his fate. He won't notice I'm here.
Stupid trolls. They're revealing my hiding position.
And it gives some extra farming efficiency to Amar. Happy to clean it up. Suddenly the highest net worth in the game. So what should have been a kill on the Mars mid going into the Queen's pocket turns into a kill for ATF and a troll camp.
Things just not going right for Gaimin Gladiators.
Nope. Somehow this game is a 1K game though. And all of that is the support differential, right? A lot of these early kills on the maiden mid and like that skirmish on the Wisdom Rune. A lot of levels and gold going into the Venge in the back here. So if you're gaming, you got to use this support strength. Keep fighting. Keep drawing supports into this battle where you outweigh them right now. Use that power to bring your cores back in the game. We're looking at a pretty close blink for Tofu. Almost all 9.
It's a little surprising to me that the, like, yeah, Crystal Maiden, very hit or miss when it comes to kills in the game. I feel like you're either feeding on people or getting fed upon. But Tusk, I would have imagined, crit Tusk with the Weaver, with the Huskar, with the Mars, I imagine you would have been able to be a part of some kills and get some net worth, but he is struggling behind Tofu.
Not the easiest Tusk game in terms of lockdown. Queen Bat don't care. Dawn Theory doesn't care. You can't just reliably gank Dawnbreaker.
Yeah.
The Sven was insanely tanky bottom and has Warcry. Then you have Swap on top of it. I mean, it's showing the difference between this hero and Tiny in a lot of respects. But he can be a lot stronger later. A lot of interrupts for the Dawnbreaker in the fight. You have save potential. So to me, this Tusk will pay off over the course of the game. But yeah, the early game is definitely a lot rougher. Lane needs also just weaker, I think.
Chipping away at it. They'll get that mid tower eventually. Unless Gaimin Gladiators want to try and have a go at Skeeter, who's a pretty tough hero to kill, but they had the Blink Dagger. What a Blink reveal, as long as they get it. And yeah, they committed every spell that they had in their arsenal.
Arcane Rune on the Quap, so they want to use the Sonic Wave right now.
Snowball dodge. Of course, Crit's still dead, but at least he can make his death cost him a little bit more mana, a little bit more time. Maybe that'll help get everybody else away to safety. Not snaking, because you can't run.
Nope. His hero does not have legs that work, apparently. But that'll be a solo Roshan. So the Huskar Master continues to accelerate his masterful game.
And soon we'll have the Heaven's Halberd, which is obviously a really big pickup against the Sven. Can help against the Quap.
Though Sven is an early BKB buyer, so it's not the worst item matchup for the hero.
Even though didn't it get buffed on the evasion part? It got an extra like 5%, right? Yeah.
That's nice this game for sure. I mean, he's going to be really strong with it. Aegis, Armlet, Halberd at like 16.
HP regen and lifesteal and bonus also increased by another 5%. Yep. Oh, nice deny from Celery.
Big buff for the hero, honestly.
Yeah, that is.
And it will be the Vlad's Mage Slayer build phrase. This is what I'm talking about. Like, the itemization of this hero can be a little wacky, but I do like this pathway to boosting your other cores.
Wrong time to be throwing that hammer around. Now you no longer have your escape mechanism. The swap will help him survive a couple more seconds, but now it's just put Celery in danger as you can see Tofu's up there. It's like, sorry, brother, I'm not getting anywhere close to that. I'm going to go cut another wave. Ooh. Close call, but Quinn makes it out.
Man, ATF Mars just does not seem like I've ever seen him have a bad game on this hero.
It is pretty impressive. I think the worst that we ever saw was where we settled the we established the rule of never tipping a Mar when
you don't tip this guy
when you kill him early on. He died like 3 or 4 times. That was a Mars game, right? He died 3 or 4 times in lane.
No, that was a Timbersaw game.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah. Similar though. They'll steal a triple stack. That's a big steal. I mean, this is the Sven acceleration gone. And they're going to go on Ace again. This is the one hero Gaimin don't want to be the source of initiation.
Yeah, bring the gank to the Dawnbreaker, and there's going to be no influence from an outside source. She's going to be playing alone a lot because she has that global ultimate, so take advantage of it.
Falcons speeding this game up, using this Aegis to convert on objectives. It is requiring 4 to 5 heroes, so they're not building the net worth lead. But again, a lot of that is in this support differential. And if you can't find the fights to use that, eventually it catches up with you. You just lose too much map control to make it work. So if I'm Gaimin, I want to keep looking for these bat initiations. And if I'm Falcons, I mean, you sit behind Mallory and let him do the work. Don't give those bat pickoffs up. This play got scanned as well, so Falcons know they're on the hill.
What is Celery doing here? Are they really going to go for the swap back on this Aegis Huskar? I mean, he is giving up his life potentially for that one, but they take away the Aegis. On the wrong side of the arena, stuck. Ace just going to get ripped apart here. Too many heroes there to deal with. I mean, the trade honestly wasn't the worst for Gaimin Gladiators unless it gets a little bit bad. Mar looking for more heroes, didn't find him.
It's an interesting idea to take the fight there. They didn't bring the Sven, so I guess their idea is if we trade a hero for a hero, we take the Aegis. We don't want to bleed out too many objectives on the map by not being able to 5v5. I guess it's not the worst outcome, but man, these trades are just... It's like trench warfare out here. And this
Grind in and out.
This Huskar BKB is looming. That's the big question mark. Like, how much can Falcons get in this game when this BKB is done? Because in theory, it's very hard to all in him. Especially if you have the Blink Tusk with the snowball save.
Yeah, that part actually is really rough. Because I would say Dyrachyo has a pretty good chance to be able to do so, right? Like, they have a decent... Their supports give them a lot of initiation. So if you get that initiation, Dyrachyo, BKB, commits. Nice save by Celery here, pulling Quinn back into the base. With a Roar Cry, takes a little bit longer to kill Celery than you would imagine, but she'll die all the same.
Just missing the ults to take that fight. Otherwise, I think Gaimin would happily do it near their base.
Yeah, no Solar Guardian. Speaking of which, he's gonna get ganked again. Is it just me, or is like Falcons putting like a premium on just hunting down Ace? And I feel like more teams are doing this.
Why not, right? I feel like he was the engine to a lot of their success. If he's having a rough game, it just slows down everything that Gaimin want to do. And I mean, in this game, he's the global presence, so it's even better. Once more, this Dawn Breaker's progression gets broken and leaves Gaimin looking for that team fight that they just can't find. And you have to blink on the Tusk, so this is when the lineup becomes really scary because you're going to commit in with all these big ults. If that snowball save comes out, you get the BKBs off, I feel like you're screwed. There's going to be the Halberd, there's going to be a bug going through. This arena can protect the Huskar as well to a certain degree, zone some people off. Fight just becomes really weird. Dyrachyo wants to make his presence felt.
Yeah, he's got that BKB, wants to put it to use, and they'll get the lasso on top of the Tusk as well. Snowball dodges a little bit damage, also dodges that Solar Guardian. It's a lot of spells being used there.
What? Blinked back.
I think that was just the double blink, right?
Yeah, maybe. That looked funny, though.
That was pretty funny.
But another 2 support pick. It feels like that's all they've got in this game.
Yeah.
Just support.
A lot of support kills.
Yeah, 5 on crit, 6 on snaking. So 11 of the 15. 6.5 to 1 odds. I don't know if it's that bad. In an even game?
Well, they're judging on Game 1's performance as well, right?
Worthy tribute.
Tormentor time. They took double Wisdom Runes, by the way. So, Falcons have gotten, I think, 5 out of 6 of the Wisdom Runes that have spawned. So, they may be only up by a little bit of experience, but I had to imagine, or gold.
Dude, what is up with this Maiden?
They're up 4 levels on experience.
Is this Maiden bugged?
Huh? Oh! Oh!
What is that?
What the hell is that?
What is that even from? Isn't that from the ult cast?
Probably, yeah, it's probably some sort of like taunt during freezing field bug. Oh, tried to go for the Spear Arena combo. Dyrachyo's likely still having to use his BKB, but at least he survived.
They're gonna chase. Mar, thinking about it.
He's gonna run into Quinn. Lassoed back. Dyrachyo, does he want to commit for this? And yeah, it'll be good enough. Enough separation that Dyrachyo can go for it, but Quinn dies to the initiation. The jump in, a big burst of damage. Swap back onto Maureen. Celery seeing an opportunity. This repositioning from the supports is winning fights for Gaimin Gladiators, or at least winning little skirmishes for them. And they get another one here.
Showing the power of this displacement. You swap these heroes and you lasso them in, your lineup has enough physical burst to just clear through them. And suddenly that snowball save might be out of reach. It's really hard to go that deep in after you maybe already blinked into the fight. A little overextension here by Falcons. First death for ATF in this game. Big kills to collect.
Also, the another death on the Huskar, which he did complete the BKB, so now we hit that timing that you're talking about, but some major damage has been done and gotten Dyrachyo closer and closer to a space where he can have a potential to pop him. If he can get the Daedalus crit in, Huskar may not have the impact that Falcons is expecting.
And that's accelerated the Sven into where you want the Sven to be. If he can get this next fight with that acceleration into Roshan, that's Gaimin's window back into this.
Oh, right, yeah.
It's all about this next Aegis. You want your Sven to be as strong as possible for that window to come. If you can finish up this Daedalus or get a little closer to it, another D-ward helps. But again, Gaimin looking for the smoke initiation. I feel like any fight that starts with him lassoing somebody deep in a target you can't snowball,
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
that would feel great.
Would feel great, but it's a lot harder to do that when you're on the offensive. They're going to get a ward here next to the tier 1 tower. That tier 1 tower is always kind of a nuisance when you're trying to take Roshan with Radiant side.
Oh, look, she lost her sled. All right.
Back to normal.
Bounty.
Smoke wrap from behind.
This is, I mean, this has to be favorable for Falcons if they just blink. If the smoke pops and they get an arena off.
They run into Dyrachyo first. He gets off his BKB, spots him, immediately hits the war cry, does not use his BKB. He holds on to it. Amar tries to get the initiation, but he gets jumped on first. He gets lassoed, picked up by the snowball. One chop, almost takes crit out, half health. 2 shots will take out Amar. Now he turns on to Malrine. This is the real test right here. He's challenging Malrine. Can he finish him off? He gets Heaven's Halberd. The BKB ran out, and now his damage, it begins to fade. He turns back into him now. The Heaven's Halberd is enough. It keeps Malrine alive, and they can chase down the rest of the heroes as a result.
No Sonic Wave coming through in that fight. That's a very different exchange if Quinn can get something off, but they locked him down. Swap and Lasso were both expended by that point, and there's just nothing left to help the Sven take that man fight. He missed a couple times, and that just seals his fate. Honestly, this is not the cleanest initiation for Falcons. Not what they were looking for at all. But the snowball save at the end does just a little enough, buys a little time. Donald comes in, and Quinn just went in very aggressively, gets bailed out by the swap, but then gets punched on the backside. Just did so much damage off crit finishing him off. Did not expect that to happen. Too over-aggressive. And Dyrachyo left wondering where the hell was the help?
Yeah, I mean, the start of that fight looks so good for him, right? He chops down the Mars. He's able to use the rest of his BKB to attack the Huskar. Unfortunately, that BKB just could not last long enough for him. And the Heaven's Halberd disarm goes to work. Caught him on the Yules. Pin him down right next to Snake King. Will take advantage of it with the Frostbite. They pick off Quinn again.
The Yules catch on Mars. Just we've seen it come back in the meta. It's one of the best in the game, honestly. Undodgeable, pretty much.
He'll find and leave a double damage rune.
I mean, Gaimin's best answer is still the Lasso ATF. ATF's just running in. He's going to play aggressive with this build. He wants to set the fight up for his other damage dealers. If you can take the control out first, it does open up a lot because he does not have that BKB. So he is susceptible getting chain stun and bursted. Feels like a lot of these fights are just coming down to the Bat Rider and the Mars Tusk.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Gets caught on this side of the map. Him and Tofu were pushing both the side lanes, and they both get caught. Falcons with just really good control of the map.
He wants that Ags too. Dawnbreaker so close to Ags. That's a huge item in this game. Help the Sven take the man fight, but it does feel like Dyrachyo just needs MKB.
Worthy tribute.
And that's your best chance. And Falcon's just gonna try and not let him get to that point. The hunt continues, though. The ring around the 2 trees.
This Yules is
Frostbite
so good.
Yeah,
I like that little play. You notice he used the shard there on the Crystal Maiden.
Nice little heads up to secure it. We almost have an Ags on the Tusk. Jeez.
Radiant's middle tower.
Well, there
is
goes
under
your
attack.
repositioning advantage
Yeah.
that Gaimin Gladiators was supposed to have.
Crit has been very annoying in these fights. Especially for what his net worth was. I mean, he was just a brown boots blink, and he was
Yeah.
more annoying than he had any right to be. He gets an
Aegis.
Ags, he can just start the fight on his terms. Or just kick the Sven out of the fight. He just wastes his BKB duration.
Yeah, that's a good point. Just guard the Huskar, basically.
Sven does not like playing against Tusk.
So he buys out the Daedalus.
Yeah, no evasion pierce. He has the curse as well.
You're
Sven hits
really
hard.
rolling the dice here. He's got to get through that evasion, the 25%, and
Gamble.
roll his own crit. Lasso pullback. This is their best opportunity. 1, 2. It's not quite enough fast damage. Dawnbreaker ultimate now going off. Kind of inside the arena. Look at that
Oh,
clean
clean.
damage going to work, though.
Got him with the
Sonic
wave.
Dodged a little bit. Good Yules from Amar. He'll get a
ATF's
little
so low.
couple spells off, but Amar will finally fall. Second life now for Malrine. Swap back in with Godstrike still going in. Couple misses. A little bit of a
He still
problem
has
here,
BKB.
but Falcons can't really seem to help out Malrine. He pops a BKB, turns back around. Where's the damage? Evans Halbert is going to fade out eventually here. A second one comes in. He is just getting kited around nonstop, but Dyrachio finally claims the life of the Huskar. Hits the range creep, gets the crit. 1,300 damage will cleave through him, and now will take Skeeter for a ride as well.
He's like cleaving off the small creeps.
Yep.
Looked pretty sick, but another huge kill at the end. It was actually really important they got this Weaver kill. That's a 1,300 gold kill. So much XP into the pocket, and a sick team fight from Gaimin on an aggressive tier 2 push that just didn't feel like Falcons expected them to go on the Huskar.
Yeah.
Called the bluff, and it works out, and now you're going to eat a little more.
Trying real hard to do something here, but they know Dyrachio is not that far away. They saw him hitting that tier 1 tower. And as a result, are they both going to die here? Amar's going to come back in. Maybe this fight is drawn on long enough that
doesn't
some of
do
these
damage,
other cores
though.
can get here. Snowball, is that going to be enough to finish him? Dyrachio is so low, but he's healing, he's healing. This is a problem. Amar, another spear, and finally he finished them off. Gets the kill on Dyrachio in the end. It costs both their supports lives, but they get it.
I mean, what a sequence, I guess. ATF cleans a little bit of it up, but that's technically 7 down in that exchange.
Yep.
And this Venge is looking really strong in this game. Just the amp, the physical, the swaps in these fights are doing so much work. Setting a lot of these fights up for Dyrachio to just go to town. Those cleaves were chunking through them. Ags completed for the Tuskar now will help a little bit. But you're looking at another item for Tofu as well, who is still having a tremendous game on this Bat Rider. Again, name of the game is displacement here. If you can isolate a core, drag him in, swap him in, kick somebody in, that sets up a lot of the fight. The road to recovery has not been pretty here for Game, but they hold a gold lead right now at 31 minutes.
The one here I feel like I haven't felt the presence of, despite being second in net worth, is this Weaver. Right? Like, the Huskar died, and it was like, oh, they still have another carry, and Skeeter just dies as well.
I agree. I mean, he's having a solid game, but it kind of just feels like he's there.
He's doing the most damage. What?
I think it's just all spread out, right? You have this Hurricane Gleipnir build with Shard going through. He's dealing a lot of damage to the 5 of them, but he's not going in and bursting some target and giving them an advantage.
Right. You think some of that is just like the Warcry? Just like the extra buff?
There's Warcry,
the Gaimin
there's
Gladiators.
Vengeance Aura,
Yeah.
reducing damage.
Sure.
There's Swap that you have to get through the shields on. There's this Dawnbreaker ult coming through with the Vlad's on top of it that's giving some heroes some healing. By the way, that Dawnbreaker has Ags now. So these fights change a lot if you're going to go in with the Huskar and the Mars, commit on somebody. That Dawnbreaker ult can save you.
Right. Another reason why Weaver may not be able to burst down a hero as quick.
There's no evasion pierce on Falcon's side. Zags is very strong right now. And an Ags on the Bat Rider. That is what Tofu managed to finish here. Another huge item if he can land it. Dyrachio playing aggressive, trying to bait the jump. They do not want to bite it. And for good reason, right? You go on that Sven, he gets swapped. He gets Dawnbreaker ultied. You're in a world of pain. Aeon Disc for ATF.
Yeah, I'm wondering if that's going to be
Very
the
defensive.
bait that Gaimin Gladiators don't expect. Because they've been targeting this Mars super hardcore,
For
right?
good reason.
if they stumble into a fight and don't know he has Aeon Disc, oh, he's going to show himself now, so.
Again, the downside of this build, amazing utility, amazing initiation, and continued stun presence with the reduced cooldowns. Does not nearly do as much damage as those scaling builds.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I do really like it considering the fact that he has a Huskar Weaver.
No, I agree. He has 2 damage-dealing cores that should carry the fight.
It's just not an MR, you know?
Yeah. It's also, if the Huskar dies, can you take that 4v5? I don't think you can, right?
Yeah, considering the fact that as we talked about, the Weaver hasn't been able to, like, take over any fights recently.
I mean, he is very farm.
Dire's bottom
So
tower is
this
under attack.
MKB definitely helps that damage issue. Level 20 talent, also huge talent for this hero. The damage will continue to ramp up here for Skeeter.
And 20 talent is a massive one, too, for Weaver.
I just worry about the Venge in this game, honestly. It's not a hero we've seen a huge amount, but remember that patch when this hero was first pick? It was first pick for a reason. It creates a very weird damage problem in the late game for a lot of these carry-on-carry man fights. Sometimes you just run out.
Yeah.
You feel like you should be doing a lot more right-click than you actually are. Put a Warcry on top of that with like a Vlad's armor aura.
Dire are scared.
Yeah, let's say you're negating an extra 20% of physical damage from Warcry, then 25% is also getting negated from Wave of Terror.
It adds up. It adds up
it's
very
gonna add up.
fast. Especially in this type of game where fights are going to be determined in, you know,
Dire's
5 or
top
6
tower is
seconds.
under attack.
Meanwhile, Sven does not have damage problems. I mean, he got the Nemesis curse, so...
And Satanic. A lot of extra strength here. He's hitting hard. The only thing he's lacking is that evasion pierce, which it looks like he's just he's not going to go for. Just going AC. Going to rely on RNG to get the job done.
So they're sitting waiting for it on Dire's side.
Oh, this is too fast.
They know it's being done because Roshan roars.
Yeah, it's too fast. They can shard it off as well.
Yeah, they could block this area off and keep Roshan in. Okay, Gaimin
Very
Gladiators,
heads up play.
who had an advantage, now get it taken away from them because they didn't play for Radiant side Roshan, I guess. I mean, surely Gaimin Gladiators, like, if they could revisit, they would want to take that fight, right?
I think they only want to take the Roche fight if they're the ones set up there.
Sure.
It's hard to say. So we have mid-banner, pretty standard.
Radiant's bottom tower
So that's
is
why it's
under
under
attack.
train production to look for the banner as soon as
Radiant's
possible.
bottom tower has fallen.
I mean, you see it spawn. I don't know why there's like this thing of like, where does it place it? Where did it go? Oh, there's a giant zoom-in green icon that gets put on the minimap for 3 seconds.
All right. Well, it's scary. All this displacement hitting high ground Falcons.
This is a terrifying high ground. Every fight Falcons have lost this game has been pushing into a game and objective where the swap and the lasso can go to work. Nobody wants to hit this. I mean, the problem is, what are you doing if you're not hitting this? I mean, if you want to go farm and split the map and build up more net worth, sure. But then if you're sitting here as 5, that's not the way to do it. So
Yeah.
some indecision here is Falcons weigh how the hell do you actually go high ground in this game?
Are you fine with continuing to go late if you're Falcons? Because they kind of have 2 carries, right?
I don't know, honestly.
But their supports aren't quite as good.
Yeah, I don't think their supports are nearly as good as this game scales. The Maiden is not really offering you anything in terms of spell power. The Tusk can be strong, but it's kind of banking on him getting good kicks, which...
Frankly, it's just easier to do the same thing with Swap and Lasso, right?
Yeah, I think so. Depends a lot on the vision. They just don't really have a direct vision mechanism. It's kind of weird, honestly. I also don't think a Sven is the greatest ultra late game carry, but it looks okay here if the Queen can actually get the 5 or 6 items.
That for me is the big thing. Is Queen of Pain good at scale?
Yeah. I think Queen will scale in this game. I think Queen always scales.
Sure, but specifically right now, Quinn is behind
He
Amar
is
in
behind.
net worth.
He needs another 1 or 2 items for them to get to that late game and feel secure. But again, if you can't go high ground, if he gets to Parasma, if he gets to Octarine, if he gets to Refresher, whatever he wants,
Yeah,
that team fight is not that straightforward.
it's Parasma right now. I mean, that item's just way too good for these intelligence right-clicking heroes.
But if anyone's going to show us the prowess of late game Huskar, it is the Huskar Masters. There's a
Nice
kickback.
kickback. On to Tofu, gets a force staff to help him get away. Unfortunately,
Firefly.
he also has the gem, by the way. This is why they're willing to use the Solar Guardian for him. Malrine just jumped into the Sven. That is maybe a disaster. He still has the Aegis, though, and Darachu's going to start backing
BKB
himself
running
away.
out.
He hit an Aeon Disc. He hit an Aegis. Now he needs to get out with the BKB. Now out, he kind of has to turn and fight. They're going to try and
Where's
finish
the
up. Go
lasso?
for Amar. Malrine's down to half health right now, but Spear down to low ground for the Sven. He can't quite challenge Malrine. He gets Heaven's Halberd, and of course, as soon as he goes for that Huskar, it doesn't matter. Quinn looking for an escape after he killed
He's
the
keeping
Crystal
on the
Maiden.
outpost.
Amar, he's going to get him.
Doesn't have to
Can
damage
his team
himself.
join him in time?
Yeah, I don't think. Oh.
It's a close call, but he's out.
Saw Quinn's eyes light up. No way. Another very close fight. I mean, that is an Aegis fight. So Gaimin opted to take that outside their base into that Aegis. That's a very tough one. And there was no lasso that effectively went off as Tofu gets it at the very end, but he dies during it. It's very tough to fight the Aegis because you're just wearing down your Sven's BKB.
Yeah, I mean, he hit Aegis, and then he hit an Aeon Disc, and that was his BKB.
And now you've opened up that high ground.
Radiant structures are fortified.
An interesting fight to take strategically, right? Like, why not wear out the Aegis for another minute or two? Force them into that high ground fight that they didn't want to take. Instead, you've given them an opening here to take some buildings. MKB and Ancient Guardian on Skeeter, his damage has ramped up considerably in terms of that single target focus.
Took the range barracks, get out immediately, because they're too afraid of Tofu getting a lasso and things getting pulled into the Radiant base.
And there's some damage for ATF. Refresher. Man, he is stacked.
Well, this is how you can use a Refresher on a Mars. You have to get a Yules and an Octarine and an Aeon.
Oh, he has the
to
mana.
give you the mana pool.
He has the mana. Dandelion Amulet as well.
And he's going to go Wind Waker next.
Yes, of course, Arcane Aura is the real
Thank you.
mana
Thank you.
engine here. The big 6 mana he'll regenerate over the course of stunning someone for 8.
That's somebody who plays Crystal Maiden right there. They're like, what? The Arcane Aura, though.
I'm helping.
You're forgetting about the late game presence of Arcane Aura. Look at her go. Well, you talked about the vision mechanism. I mean, obviously hitting high ground, you still don't have that, but they did take the gem away from Gaimin Gladiators, so GG going to be in a bit of dark right now.
Trying to force that BKB.
Yeah, I mean, you have the Aeon Disc, so might as well
Yep.
have a poke.
Very small heads-up plays. He knows even if they go on him, they don't have Dispels right now, he'd be happy to trade Aeon for BKB. But Darachu does not bite the bait. Looking to Ags himself here.
Yeah, that doesn't give you...
Oh, crit, looking... And look at how aggressively he's playing. Even with this Aeon Disc, yeah, I mean, that was very aggressive.
Yeah, now you're going to get pulled back in even after the
Refresh
Aeon
it.
Disc. Refresh, Yules, blink away. Okay.
Saves the second Aeon as well.
Amar knows what he's doing, man.
I mean, was that worth a lasso cooldown?
Maybe not.
That's a good
but
target to kick.
It really is.
They don't have
Can't
detection.
see him, though. Somehow,
What?
now Solar Guardian's going to go to work, helping this Venge to live a little bit longer. He gets off another swap, this time on Amar. Not sure if that's going to be good or not. He's going to come down to the Yules and maybe be in trouble as Darachu's going to come in, look to finally finish off this Mars, and got a good cleave in it. He finished off the Crystal Main just off of that, and Skeeter had to use his ult and immediately died anyway.
Ultra kill for the manliest hero in Dota 2 right now. Darachu looks surprised he got them all there. All right, I guess we won that fight, boys.
I mean, they were kind of, that area does kind of turn into a funnel. So the Sven cleave just went to work. I mean, he almost killed...
Ooh, I'm strong.
I mean, he almost killed Skeeter just through the cleave initially.
But so much of that starts with that ATF go. Like, he burns his refresher first Aeon on that high ground, then the arena cuts a lot of them off, but what is happening during that arena? Nothing. the cores are just running.
Yeah.
Just a very awkward fight.
Choose to take the fight on the high ground, thinking that it's going to be okay.
Well, just a lot of missed synergy, honestly, and they pay a big price here as Dyrachyo cleans them up. We're heading into this late game, and I mean, we're starting to feel the power of this lineup. Also, no detection for Celery on that kick play.
Super awkward.
He just sat there and glimmered the whole duration. He never even died. Like, I mean, what are we doing here, right?
Yeah, and they took the gem away from Gaimin Gladiators.
I mean, maybe they had detection. They just didn't focus him. I don't even know what happened, but he took no damage. He just sat there. So something went wrong. And either way, I mean, Gaimin are starting to take control of this game. They have a lot of survivability now. A lot. And the damage is starting to add up. You got the Parasma on the Quap. You got Shivas on the Dawnbreaker, plus Halberd finished for Ace. Like, he is fully back. He is very tanky, and the damage amp is stacking.
If you could Aghanim Scepter on Celery.
That's a Lincoln's. They did see it.
Punish time.
Oh, what a Gleipnir.
Gleipnir onto 3, stuck inside the arena. They're gonna try and go
Target's very
elsewhere.
split.
They're not following Amar into this one. He gets a second arena on these heroes, but the rest of the team is staying outside of this one. They're focusing on Ace right now. Amar actually somehow managed to get a blink away.
The hell's he still alive?
The Shard, it caught all 4 of these heroes after the arena, but Dyrachyo almost just took out the entire team with that crit, but they kick him away. They kick the Sven out of this area so they can focus on everybody else. A good call from Crit that allows Falcons to be able to pick apart Gaimin Gladiators one by one.
Just a masterclass in disruption and utility coming out between the Mars and the Tusk, man. Splitting the fight, locking people down. 4-man ice shards at the end. 2, like 3 or 4-man arenas with double A on this. If there were ever a team fight that says you need a nullifier in this game, it's got to be this one.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, my God, the man doesn't have BKB. He has Yules, double A on disc. Nullifier would just insta-kill ATF here. But they don't have it in the tank.
That's the second time that Skeeter has almost died to a cleave hit.
I mean, that crit
Barely
almost
managed to
wiped
get out
them.
time lapse.
But again, the kicks, the punches, the blink outs, the shards. And I think we see that helm on the Queen of Pain. That's a nullifier being built for Quinn in this game.
Yeah,
and
they were
what
having,
they
I think they had that discussion because Dyrachyo was thinking about Aghanim Scepter, which gives you a Dispel, right?
But it's not enough when he can refresh.
Sure.
You need the static Dispel lingering on him to pop these Aeons.
Yeah,
be able to
I
kill
think
this Mars straight up.
they had that conversation.
Yeah.
Quinn said, yeah, we're going to need, I'll get Nullifier. You just get, he got an S and Y, now he has a refresher on Dyrachyo.
So
didn't have it in that last
The big
fight.
question here is they got this Roche, they got Nags, they gave it to... Gave it to the Mars.
Top tower
Okay.
is under attack.
Really?
So that Bulwark
Wait,
Ags.
what? For the pushback? It can't be because he's doing damage with it, right?
I mean, it is some decent damage. It's slow.
Yeah.
What are your other Ags options? The Weaver one? I mean, are you really going to play for that?
I mean, this Ags is buggy as hell.
It is definitely buggy.
It
The
used
Weaver
to
one's just been
function
nerfed.
better in the previous version.
Well, we'll see if it works. They put a cheese on the Weaver who also hit his level 25 talent, so the full damage scaling from Skeeter is there. They find a quick little lasso. Team's really far, though.
Stuck on that little spot.
Okay, crit
It's
helps.
down, but then swap back in. Amar jumping in with his fresh Aghanim Scepter. And the Weaver starts going for the pickoffs. It does manage to get through that Solar Guardian evasion to finish off the Bat Rider.
Oh,
and now they're in an
himself.
awkward position. Yeah, he was still stuck on that little cliff area. The Sonic Wave hits a bunch of heroes, brings Malrine low, but certainly not low enough for Gaimin Gladiators
Dyrachyo
to go
going
into his
in?
Aegis. He's going to try. He's somehow just outside of their vision. Oh, no. He's already being kited around, has these two heroes next to each other. Finished off the Aegis. Amar backing away, using his Aghanim Scepter to try and push back Dyrachyo. Refreshes. Malrine jumped into him, and against that BKB with the God Strength as well. This is maybe a bit of a problem for Malrine. They're both not sure if they can take the fight. Dyrachyo sees Malrine running away and says, wait a minute, I can keep going for him. I've got the backup of the rest of my team. Are they going to be able to finish him off? A swap back. He was in trouble. Now he can go back in for another hit, but he can't quite get it. Malrine is going through this one by one. They cannot stop the Huskar Master, and Gaimin Gladiators have no buybacks.
How is he alive? He got Sonic Waved into the Huskar. They know it. How is this man alive right now? Takes so much damn damage. And he dealt, he dealt 20,000. 5 ults off.
I mean, how many misses did Dyrachyo get there?
Radiant's top barracks are under
They just
That
can't
was
hit him.
insane. It's just game over.
You cannot kill the Huska. It's too powerful. It's too strong. You should have banned the Huska. A Tread's offering.
No, stop. Huskar Master cannot be appeased.
I mean, he's trying to get a kill for buyback, right?
courier has been killed.
Yeah. He's trying to lower the buyback cost. I don't even think it's close, but a last stand here as they will finish off this game in a stylistic fight from Maureen at the end.